Hello everyone, this is how to easily beat the Sundered Monarch in Lords of the Fallen 2023. So this boss fight is one of the final ones that we face before the end of the game. Now you can summon Pieta to this fight, and I would recommend that since her Air of Effect heals and attacks overall just make this boss fight a lot easier. Now she can hold aggro pretty well, but I find the easiest strategy for this fight is to use a lot of your throwing items. Now I have the enhanced bloody hatchet, and I found that to be very useful for this fight. But otherwise, when he gets in close to you, he will miss often because his attacks are kind of in a weird way. If you dodge to the right, most times you're not going to get hit with it. So I recommend doing that whenever possible. Watch his attack for when he coughs, because that means he's going to throw his throwing knives at you. And that's an easy dodge. So there's some attacks that are very well telegraphed. This one here you got to watch out for when he drags it around. It's in a ring outside of him, so as long as you're very close or very far from him, you'll be fine. It pays to have Pieta doing her attacks though, because it can really drain his health bar quickly. I also used some bloody salts to increase my damage, as I found out that he was pretty weak to bleed in terms of damage inputs. So use that and stick to the right hand side of him, or the arm that's not carrying that big rock, because you're gonna find you'll get hit a lot less from there. I just healed and went right into his attack. That was kind of silly of me. But watch out, because his attacks will knock you down, and some of them have a wave that will hit you. Some of them you have to watch out for the throwing knives. He does have a pretty simple move set, but using those bleed salts helps a lot, because his damage is... he mostly gets hurt by bleed. You got to watch out for that attack where he jumps up with both hands on the rock. Watch out, there's going to be a shockwave that you'll have to dodge through. Somewhat similar to some of these other fights where they have that ring that comes out. But one thing I've noticed is he gets stun locked if you use two throwing items on him. You can see that there. We got him pretty good stun locked. The second enhanced hatchet will always cause that to occur. So you can avoid a lot of his attacks just by getting him in that stun lock there. And it also will apply bleed, which will deal extra damage. So that is, I think, one of the easiest strategies to take down the Sundered Monarch. But there's some other ways you can go about doing this if you're a magic user. I would recommend using the Radiant spell that'll increase your bleed damage. Or if you're an Inferno build, I would probably recommend not using that for this fight, since he is mostly fire damage, and a lot of it. As you can see there, he is taking out Pieta pretty quickly, but that just means it's going to be 1v1. It's probably a little bit better to have Pieta last longer, because that means you can just keep the aggro off yourself and throw these throwing items to your heart's content. But she doesn't live forever, so that's the unfortunate part, and we gotta avoid him as much as possible. Now I'm not too sure. I'm doing I did the Radiant ending here. There might be different summons that you can get. There isn't much information out about this game just yet, but I found that Pieta did a great job, because not only can she heal you, but she can deal her own radiant damage as well. During this attack, when you see the light around your character glowing, run away, because there's going to be those daggers coming out of the sky that'll hurt your character. I was able to get a nice stagger off on him there, but really all it takes is the two throwing attacks and you can stagger him. So you can kind of time it with his attacks. Whenever you see him starting to wind up, maybe throw your throwing hatchet. This attack you can dodge, and it just unfortunately got me stuck in the wall. I found I was getting stuck in the wall a lot in this game, but it almost took me out, unfortunately. But we really do have to work on keeping away from these attacks, as he does do a lot of these. I accidentally used the Umbral Lamp there, and then I got hit by that silly attack where he does a wave that just hits everything. Brought back into Umbral form, and the nice thing is, whenever you use the throwing hatchets, it will bring back your withered health, so that can be an easy way to get your health back. And we were just able to stagger him there, so that was really nice. But yeah, it's really just about getting those throwing items in as much as possible to stagger him, because his damage is pretty big. He is relatively slow as attacks, and they are telegraphed well, so if you wanted to do like a couple runs without even attacking and just working on the dodge patterns, I'd find that to be pretty useful, just since his attacks hit like a truck. The Sundered Monarch is not the hardest boss in the game, but he can pose a threat just due to the large hitboxes that his attacks have, and the fact that he can do a lot of ranged attacks like this. So with your throwing hatchets, you may be able to get a lot of damage in, but it's all about surviving his attacks, especially those two-handed slams where he covers the ground in that ring of fire. You can get a lot of punishment in after those attacks. I got really lucky here and he just started to yell and I was able to throw the last few throwing hatchets. But that's how you can easily beat the Sundered Monarch and Lords of the Fallen. Hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button below. It really helps me out and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.